Yo, what's up guys? Just came back from Berlin from the pre-show that we did do yesterday. Day after tomorrow is going to be the finals for Swell, but there's something that's on my mind, and that is this thing that pops up in your face. And this is a replacement of the old Ria packs where you normally, I think, bought it for like 34 euros is what it was, or 33 euros, and you got 7 and you could buy them 10 times. But now you have an ungodly amount of re-ups that you could buy over here, and I'll showcase the math on that in just a second. We also have that for room packs, and this is just crazy work for how much you could buy and how much I will could get ahead, rather than someone that's not spending as much. But let me show you first how much of a improvement or a more buyability kind of thing you have on re-ups over here as what you had before. So just quickly did the math on that. So before we had this scenario where you could buy 10 re-ups. I think they were 33.9, but I'm actually not 100% sure. Maybe could be 33 as well. I think they were actually like a 20, like 30. I think they were like this, but let's just claim it was 33. You get 7 re-ups and you buy a 4.7 euro per re-up, and then your cost to buy all of them was a 329. Now, in the new scenario, with the packs that we have over here right now, which is just the re-up packs, we also have this for room packs. So whatever is the improvement of the amount of spending and re-ups you can get, is that improved as well. So we have the amount of buy limits over here, the cost over here, how many re-ups you get over here, and then also the cost of re-up, which technically went down. But then you spent this much. So let's say what the total price is and how many total re-ups you have. So that would make it that you get a 70 re-ups in total and you buy it for all. Well, that's pretty much the whole buy. But now you can buy a total of 318 re-ups for the price of 1,285 euros and a little bit more. That means you can buy 4.5 times as many re-ups as you could do in previous months. And you can spend about 3.9 times as much on re-ups. And also we can make the same argument for room packs as you did in previous months. That is absolutely insane, Com2us. Like, sure, you're trying to up your business model, but by all means, like, does that mean that you can just buy an ungodly amount of things before? I remember that buying 300 re-ups used to be exploiting something. Now it's just there. So Com2us doesn't have time for making a proper balance patch. They don't really have time to implement things that we would like to see, such as a pre-ban over here, or think about a special league that we would actually like to play rather than just recycling something that we already said with the previous iteration. We don't really like this. But the time that they do have is to revamp the UI of the whole shop. At that point, I was like, okay, they probably just want to make it more interesting and seeming more appealing for people to look at the shop and to buy things. And there's already a lot of things to buy if we just go through all of those over here. Like, just those special packs already probably sets you down, if you want to buy all of them, about like a 1,500 to 1,000 every month. And then now you also have this that sets you down another like 1,300. This one that sets you down another 1,300. Before you actually get to the point of spending things on useless parts where you're just like Kalian Bow level, just buying crystals or something. But that is absolutely insane. Oh, they also added artifact packs. I forgot about those. How much is the buy limit on that? Oh, 3 per week. Yep. But it's totally not enough yet. Like, keep in mind that the room packs that I just showed are not these room packs that you buy weekly. Those are the monthly room packs that you buy weekly. Or, well, not weekly, but you get what I mean. The normal room packs that you were buying like an X amount and you were spending like 300, similar of what I just showed to the re-ups. Now you can spend 1,500 a month on that as well. So the spending, if you want to get everything that's like an effective, good value buy, whatever you want to call it, but I'm kind of getting on the point that nothing is a good value buy anymore, because what the hell are we doing over here? But the good value buys kind of went up to like 1,000 to maybe 1,500, and then it really hard fell off. Well, with those new packs in here, the good value buys pretty much, well, these are the suggested things. That's not what I suggest. What is suggested and recommended? Isn't that a synonym for one another? Let me know if someone did like an actual like English major and what the difference is between a recommended and a suggested, because I think that's the same thing. Either yeah, the fall off of what is like good value to buy now falls off like 5k, which is like, or at least like 4k. That's just absolutely insane how much more that is right now. So it's kind of sad to see that Com2us doesn't really want to improve the game that much, but just want to cater towards the whales. But also, you're catering towards the whales, but if I hear the people that I know from China talking about the game, the only thing they say is like, yo, why am I summoning LD5s? Because most of the LD5s are way worse versions or not even good versions of a normal elemental unit. The normal elemental units are way better in a lot of cases. Why would I be summoning LD5s? Like you get a light Gojo, for example, but you got an Russian doing the job way better. So those kind of things. So it's kind of interesting to see what kind of choices they make in what kind of style of they making money or something like that. I have no clue what's going on. Also, same thing that I've mentioned a bunch of times before. These events are boring as hell. None of these events are catering towards beginners. I hope with the 12th anniversary we will have good beginner events again, because that is the point where you make people download the game and start playing the game. You get a bigger player base again. But you have the best update, the 9.0, the scout battle, making the game easier, scout battling. You don't have to crazy farm anymore and that kind of stuff. That is your moment that you want to have more people playing your game. What do? No beginner events. I'm like, is there anyone out there thinking about the most logical thing out there? You make the game a lot more chill to play for new people. Then you add something to the game saying it's like, hey, this is your time you should be playing. But no, you just be like, no, we just had that event just before. You missed that. Sucks to be you. Don't play our game. But by the way, if you're playing a game, please buy an ungodly amount of re-ups and room packs and those kind of things. Like that's, wow, that's a something right there. I have no clue what kind of intentions and like things they are working on and doing and that kind of stuff. Because in honesty, game has been pretty dry for the last few months. Only interesting thing that we did get is, I would say, this guy. But you want to hear a funny story about this guy? How long is he released? And can we use him in RTL already? Long and no. Why not? Because it was not being able to use in the last season. Sure, voila, fine, can happen. But then you put a special league where you can't use the fucker that's most interesting as well? Oh my god, what are we doing at this company sometimes? And that's the thing, like, I guess the guys from EU that I talked to can't also really do much about it, which I guess is the thing because it's HQ in Korea making all of those decisions. But I have no clue what they're doing over there or what their ideas behind things or what they're focusing or working on. And like they're trying to balance things. Like we have new skins, and normally new skins come paired in like also having those units balanced. So therefore they're more interested to actually getting those units in. Well, I expected an Onyuki buff because he can kind of use one. These things were buffed, but these things are actually more nerfed than buffed. The fuck? These things weren't even touched. What the fuck is going on? I have no clue, man. But maybe I'm not seeing something and they're actually on the background doing good. But we can kind of check some numbers, so let's check about that. So on these gacha revenue sites, take it with a grain of salt because they only check an X amount of shops. So it's not necessarily like, oh, they made 6 mil last month. It is more of a reference like, okay, what is the number of this month compared to last month or the month before? So it's more of a comparison number and going up in percentages rather than the actual number itself. But here we can see they have been pretty much bouncing between 6 mil and 8 mil for the last few months out there. However, bouncing between 8 and 6 mil is not that interesting when you do collabs, I guess, because the collabs mostly do better in general, which is kind of interesting to see that we have, I think on the last day of January, we had the collab going on, Lord of the Rings collab, arguably good collab. Then we got to an 8 mil, and now we dropped on the second month of the collab back to a 6er. So those are not really good numbers, and they kind of have been bouncing up and down over here. I think like this is the collab that we had. I think it started over here. I'm not sure what the 12th month of last year was, if there was anything special. But the collab pretty much started in early January last year, and that was, I think, the Demon Slayer one. Could be wrong on that, but... Or was it Jujutsu Kaisen? No, I'm pretty sure it has to be the Demon Slayer one. Yeah, looking at the order of units being released, has to be the Demon Slayer one. So, Demon Slayer one, well received. I think the Jujutsu Kaisen one was probably over here then. So, yeah, just having a collab with Lord of the Rings and still not adding that much, that's where they suddenly be like, hey, guys, we should add more to the game. More Rhea packs. So, I'm actually very curious to see if those more Rhea packs is going to result in a bigger number next month. But it's going to be a clouded thing as well because we will have the anniversary, and anniversary mostly comes with the X year scrolls, and those are arguably best scrolls in game. Then the big question, what are they spending their time on? Because they made this different game, Summoners War Rush, which was made after Summoners War Chronicles wasn't doing all too well. Well, how much is that making in comparison? Well, that's a 70k in comparison to a 6 mil. Yeah, and that game has been had a nice peak and flatlined. Okay, interesting. They also released a new game, Star Sailors. How is that one doing? It started off with a peak of... Yeah, okay, so I guess that this is their peak. I'm not even sure if the game is fully released yet or not, so I'm maybe giving them a little bit of shits over there, but I don't know. But yeah, it's also not doing too crazy. So in the end, is this where the time development that could have been in Summoners War Sky Arena goes to? Didn't they say that we're gonna hire more people for the balance patch? While looking at the last balance patch, if you hire more people for doing this kind of mediocre, absolute bare minimum kind of style of work, of just adding in a balance patch where half of the units aren't even properly improved, but even nerfed. Samath was arguably a nerf, Salah was arguably a nerf, all of these arcane weapons were arguably nerfs right there. What the hell is going on? I just, like, why is even the Ogrius being nerfed in the first place? In, like, was it that big of an issue in lower ranks of Siege that I did not see? I have no clue going, but also one of those things, people build like 10 of them, like, yeah, you can throw 9 in the trash because you don't need that for PvE anymore, because you can't use duplicates. So yeah, I just have no clue what they're doing these days or what their ideas is, and it's just frustrating. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about these ungodly amount of re-up packs that they added to the pile. I would recommend one thing, do not buy anything of those just yet. If you're planning to spend anything this month on the game, which, yeah, do with that whatever you want, but I would save that for the anniversary, because mostly the anniversary has the particular scroll out there that is called a 11-year Transcendent Scroll. Would be like then a 12-year Transcendent Scroll where you have like the 10 units you don't have and you choose one. They mostly do one during the anniversary, one during the December month. So that's arguably best scrolling game. So if you want to spend 100 or 200 a year, I would get those and I wouldn't start picking into anything else. And that's also one of those things. What would you guys say of a psychology kind of mindset on this? Because I would say if you're a mid to high spender and you were normally buying all re-ups for $300 a month, then you would say it's like, okay, I'm buying maybe 1 or 2 packs over here, I'm buying some daily stuff, and then I'm spending the 300 to get the re-ups. But would you now be feeling, since you know that the cap was 300 before and now the cap is like 1300 or something like that, do you feel that you're not going to spend your 300 anymore that you were spending before? Because I feel like personally, like I could be completely wrong with that, so let me know in the comments if you do agree or do not agree. But for me personally, if I was getting those re-ups, which I haven't been getting for quite a while, because most of the time if I get something, it's just those kind of packs. I think that those are still higher value than these. But yeah, I would be like, yo, my max of spending was like filling the whole Pokédex thing with buying the things that were high value, but since the value is that much more increased, I feel like not spending anymore. And that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. So yeah, let me know if you guys do agree or do not agree with that. For me, it's just the steps that they're taking. I have no clue who they're listening to if they give the argument, which I think by now is just a simple copy paste of saying like, we listen to the community. Well, I have no clue what community you're listening to and who's giving y'all feedback, but that ain't my feedback. I can tell you that much. Oh, holy. Like those kind of things. Like if they keep this in mind with all of the things they're doing, like who's giving feedbacks like, guys, we cannot buy enough Rhea packs. Like, yeah, maybe Kaylee and Bao and a few others, but outside of that, I think people are fine on the amount of buyable things. Like if you want to have people, like if you want to have my opinion on what I would say make that a buyable thing, make a buyable thing where you have a scroll that's similar like this, but then for LD4s, that would sell. Like now we're talking. Now people can spend 100 and get their stupid Deborah if they want to really get their Deborah. Now we're talking, right? Hey, that's a seller right there. just an ungodly amount of more re-ups? I don't know, man. Like, sure, people would hate on that idea that, like, your final LD4 that you're missing is also buyable, but hey, whatever, I guess. Like, if you at least want to make something buyable, make something buyable that people actually want, not just, like, more casino in the casino while you already have casino for casinos to add more casino to the casino and the RNG and the... Like, that's kind of my reaction to these re-up packs. And I already got... Legit, that thing got released like a few minutes ago, and I already got like 3 people DMing me. It's like, yo, say, time for a video? Because this shit is kind of getting out of hand. Like, same thing with, like, at some point, these monthly passes were added. Truth be told, good value. Arguably, highest value of packs in game. So if you're spending just the 30 or 50 or whatever it is, highest value. But then they also added in the memberships. Yeah, I guess. Then they also started adding in this one, which is like, ooh, okay. And then they started adding in more of these, and more of these, and more of collabs, and more of blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, wait, guys, there's not enough to buy in this game. Let's add from 300 euros to 1,300 euros, not just in room packs, but also in re-apps. Like, what the? I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, that's also one of those things. I give a lot of feedback. I don't hear back from a lot of stuff. That just is what it is. I still enjoy the game on my part. I do still really hope. Like, I'm not the kind of guy, like, I saw a bunch of things on Reddit. It's like, oh, people are doom posting, end of service. I don't really expect that anytime soon. I don't expect Summoners War to be that expensive to keep running in the first place. Yes, I will still be spending a bit here and there. Why? Because I can miss it and therefore I don't care as much. But it's one of those things that I'm kind of considering as like, yo, okay, how much? Like, is kind of the thing. Like, people might remember also part of my video that I had on a previous video. If we get a 10% on something that you do not define, please just mention how much it is. But yeah, those kind of things. Like, there's so many things that you could focus on, and you're focusing on revamping a fucking shop. I honestly think no one asked for this shit. Like, it's the Mr. Krabs. So Com2us. It's going very well, right? You did the new collab. How are things going?
Hello, I like money.
Okay, interesting take. Okay, so what is inspiring you guys to make good balance patches, get good content updates, listen to the community, and how are your future things that you're looking out for?
Money.
Let's hope they prove me wrong with the anniversary update, that it's actually adding in good stuff for new players to start off the game with, making them enthusiastic about playing the game, not spending on the game, and then the spending will happen at some point. But I think they're focusing way too much on
money
right there. So let's see what they're going to do with the next few things. But I'm not going to say it's a sinking ship, but I think they're poking some holes in their own bottom of the freaking ship at the moment. Try to sink it real fast by just adding in worst of the worst balance patches out there. Being super lazy and not creative with all of the events. Just log in, do dailies, log out. And before you log out, please buy the re-up packs that we added in the new revamped shop. Keep that shit hidden. Like, we don't need a revamped shop, man. That's no one asked for that. There's so many things you could add to the game that people would really like to see. I could name at least 10 different modes for a special league that people might be like, yo, hey, maybe I don't like it exactly for what I would like, but it is at least a different thing rather than the most disliked special league out there. I'm talking to the guy that made Luxec GG, and he's telling me, he's like, yo, I've never seen this few people play a special league. Yeah, I'm not that surprised about that. So yeah, let's see if they're actually focusing on improving the game rather than improving the
money.
Is what it is for now. I have still, as mentioned, some hope for the anniversary update, but anniversary update, let's hope it's not just revolving around money. And we'll see about that, guys. Thanks a lot for watching for this one. See you as always in the next one.